Hello, friends, and welcome back to our homestead. So, earlier today, I got a message from a friend of mine and a subscriber who is expressing concern that she says that she's afraid that she might not be able to go or feel safe to go to the grocery store in the month of November because maybe there's going to be no food stamps available and people on social media threatening to go and loot the stores or the grocery stores or cause violence or chaos. I don't know. I don't know if it is just empty threats. I don't know. But this subscriber was genuinely concerned and she reached out and she asked me, Lilia, is there anything I could do to prepare? Well, first of all, yes, you can do, which you should always have extra food in your pantry to feed your family more than just 3 days. Okay. We should always have a whole lot more food available. Okay. But then what can you do if you can't go to the grocery store and get those fresh ingredients? That's when you need to rely maybe a little bit more on frozen, on canned or dehydrated foods. So today I want to show you a very budget friendly, easy recipe that can be put together in a few short minutes after a long work day. Feed your family of four or two adults and four children, depending on how big your family is. But it will definitely feed at least four people. And for many of us, when we're talking about budget and nutrient dense meals, we often talk about rice and beans. But today it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be my version of low budget, calorie dense bean and potato soup. Okay. I'm going to give you a version of ingredients if you have fresh, but if you don't have fresh, we can use canned foods instead and use up things that are in your pantry. Okay. So let's show you the ingredients we're going to need. Okay. So first of all, we're going to need some sort of oil, and I like to use olive oil because it's a really good quality. And we're going to need, by the way, I'm going to put all the ingredients in the description box, so don't worry about it that if you can't catch everything. But I'm going to list everything anyway. So I'm going to need about half a cup. I know it's like sounds a lot, but we're going to need about half a cup of olive oil. We're going to need, where are my beans? We're going to need about 15 ounces of canned beans. And really, it should be your choice which beans. In my case, I have the organic great northern beans. I really like the white beans, but listen, you can use any beans you want, okay? Then we're going to need potatoes. And if you have fresh potatoes, that's great. We're going to need about 6 to 7 medium-sized potatoes. So it's going to be pretty starchy, hearty meal, okay? I don't have fresh, so I'm going to be using canned potatoes that we canned ourselves a couple years ago. Or you can get two 15-ounce canned potatoes, okay? Two 15-ounce. Then I'm going to be needing carrots. If you're using fresh carrots, you're going to need about 2 medium-sized carrots, but I'm going to use canned. And I have, this is 15 ounce of canned carrots. 1 medium to small size onion or onion powder, if you choose to do so. 1 15-ounce canned diced tomatoes. And my tomatoes have a mild chili in it. So this is diced tomatoes with chili, but you can just use just tomatoes if you like, okay? Then I'm going to be using, and this is a big can of seasoned mixed greens. And it has kale and turnip greens and some mustard greens, different types of greens. But if you have fresh or frozen, those will work better. And this is 30 ounce. It's a huge can, okay? And then we're going to need 4 cups of broth. This is my homemade broth, but if you don't have broth, you can use just water, okay? And then for spices, the spices should be to taste, whatever you guys like. But I have, what do I have? I have black pepper, I have cumin, I have paprika, garlic powder, and a few little pinch of hot pepper flakes, but that is optional. And obviously a little salt. So let's move over to the stove. I'm gonna start opening all these cans and make a very simple, on a budget, easy meal for my family tonight. I love that sound when you pop the can open or a jar open. So all these things have been opened up and we need to start cooking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly just dice this onion. I don't like very big chunks. I like very little chunks. I want my onion to disappear in a soup, not to be the prominent character, but sort of like have that additional taste in a soup, but not to be very obvious. Okay, so I'm just gonna chop it up. I'm gonna turn the stove on and I'm gonna start cooking everything. Okay, the heat is on. Let this warm up a little bit, and I'm gonna add about a half a cup or so, maybe a little less, we'll see, of olive oil, because it's gonna be the base of the soup. Remember, there's no meat in this soup, so this is gonna be the fat that we need. Okay, so the oil is here. Let this warm up. And as far as the beans, it's really up to you if you want to strain them and rinse, or if you want to put them with liquid. If you put them with the liquid together, it's going to add the richness and thickness to the soup. So I'm not going to strain it. I'm going to leave it just as is. Okay, so let the onion start cooking real quick. Okay, let that sit and cook. And I realized once I opened all the carrots, it's actually whole carrots like this. So I gotta chop them a little bit because I can't be putting them whole like that in my soup. I really gotta chop them up a little bit, okay? But it's gonna be super quick. You know why? Because they are already pre-cooked, so it's not like they're raw. Oh, let me turn down the heat. We don't wanna burn anything. And I'm just gonna quickly chop these carrots, and they're gonna go in there as well. Okay, so let's give it a quick stir. And we're gonna be adding our next ingredients. And to this, I'm gonna be adding the tomatoes, diced tomatoes with a little bit of green chilies in it. It's gonna add another layer of flavor. Okay, let that all marry together. All right, it's going to take a minute for it to come to a boil, but we really don't have to wait for too long. I'm going to be also adding the entire can. Now, if you don't like a lot of greens, I'm going to just say that they do add a lot of flavor, and they do add a lot of fiber that we need and potassium that we need. So again, it's up to you how much you want to add, but I'm going to add the big whole can of it. Okay, I'm going to mix it all together, make sure it all comes to a boil. All right. To this, we're also going to add the can of beans. And like I said, if you like to rinse them and kind of drain them, that's fine. I'm going to put them all together because I want to make sure that that creaminess is being added in here. The colors look really nice, guys, really nice. Okay, so to this, I'm adding the broth, and this is 4 cups of broth. This is homemade broth. But if you don't have broth, like chicken or vegetable or pork broth, you're also more than welcome just to add 4 cups of water. And again, and this is a very big jar of canned tomatoes, a homemade canned tomatoes. But like I said, you can add 6 or 7 medium, peel them, chop them, or 2 cans of canned tomatoes, like a store-bought. It's going to be very hearty and thick soup. Okay. All right. Remember all the spices I mentioned? They all going in here as well. And salt, I'm going to add probably about half a teaspoon to start with. Why? Because the greens are already salted, and I don't want to over salt my soup. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to be adding too much salt. I'd rather add it later and see how much I need it to taste. Okay, so let this come to a boil and cook together, marry together. Okay, it's not going to take that long, but it's going to be hearty and delicious, quick meal for your family. Okay, so this is coming to a boil. I'm going to let it simmer on low heat for about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. until all of these flavors marry together. And guess what? The meal is ready to serve to the family. Okay, guys, the soup is ready. Let's take a look. Oh, very nice and rich color, a lot of Mediterranean colors. So let's give it a taste. And let me tell you, there's no shame in cooking on a budget, even when you have to sometimes use canned products. Okay, there's no shame in it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, just a little bit for extra little flavor. Let's give it, whoo, dropping stuff. Let's give it a taste. It's super hot, so I have to be careful about it. It's good. It's very good. You could use a little bit more salt, but it's perfect. I love it. It's definitely creamy with all of those ingredients we added, and it's very hearty soup. Very low budget soup. So on this note, friends, I hope you are encouraged to cook at home, even when we are on a low budget. Just stock up on few very important items in your pantry. So friends, be encouraged and try something new.